I liked The Batman. I thought it was good. I think it's a good Batman movie. I think you should see it. The standouts for sure are the cast. Colin Farrell is fantastic as the Penguin. Jeffrey Wright kills it as Jim Gordon. I like how he's, this elderly, distinguished, deep voice guy. And then he throws like a little groovy blackness in there, and he calls Batman man. It's like, it's been 2 years. I still don't even know who you are, man. I like that. I thought that was fun. I like me some Andy Serkis, but he's not in the movie too much, so I'd like to see more from him in the sequel. The guy who plays Carmine Falcone, I won't tell you who it is if you don't know, but he was also excellent. He was enrapturing. He was captivating. It was a very old and Italian, and it worked very, very well. Robert Pattinson as Batman, I think, is good. No, not Robert Pattinson, not Edward. You mean Edward Cullen, the sparkly vampire boy? That he was in Twilight 10 years ago. Therefore, he has no talent and hasn't improved at all. Watch The Rover, watch Good Time, watch The Lighthouse, and watch Tenet, and then try and tell me that Robert Pattinson isn't a good actor. I'm so sick of hearing that, and all you're doing is exposing the fact that you only watch crappy tween drama movies. Why'd you even watch Twilight? Twilight is for girls. Are you a girl? No. If you're watching this video, you're not a girl. But yeah, he's a good Batman. Now, it's only the first movie, so I can't really... I haven't seen enough of him to compare him to like Christian Bale or Ben Affleck. He is a much more broody emo Batman, which I thought worked to kind of set this movie apart. It is a very grounded movie. There's very few gadgets. He's got his grappling hook, and he only uses a batarang once, but mostly it's just him in a bulletproof suit pounding people into the cement. It's kind of like the Daniel Craig Bond compared to the Pierce Brosnan if that was Batfleck or Christian Bale. The combat is like dirty street fights in a subway. It's just Batman and like 8 other people trying to kill him. It's much messier. It's much more fierce and intense, and I thought it worked very, very well. I thought it was a lot more convincing than if you guys haven't gone back and watched the Dark Knight trilogy recently, the extras in those movies suck. They're in some of the group fight scenes, there are literally guys that just fall over without anybody touching them. So the action choreography in the Nolan Batmans is way worse than you remember it being. I think in Batman v Superman, for example, I think it's maybe just a teeny bit over the top, like how he kind of floats and flies seamlessly from one hit to the next hit. It was a lot more like the Arkham games, which was also fun to watch. But this is probably the most grounded of all Batman fights. He's not like slowly dancing in a suit. He's just beating people to a pulp, and it's great. If I had to say there were any weak links in the cast, it's probably Catwoman and the Riddler. Now, it's a very detective-y Batman movie, so it's a lot of him very much like David Fincher's Seven. You go into a crime scene and you try to find clues that he left for you. So solving the riddles, solving the mystery and the puzzles, I thought that was entertaining. But the actual Riddler himself, I thought was just kind of a screechy dude. And I'm like, nah, I'm not really getting a whole lot of charisma. Like when he meets Batman face to face at the end, it's kind of like, this is not even close to the scene of Heath Ledger in the cell. Catwoman is, she's fine, I guess. My favorite Catwoman is still probably the one from the Telltale game. I even think Anne Hathaway is better, but she's a very, woke millennial communist who hates all rich people. She's even got a line in there about white privilege, and I'm like, dude, your skin is basically almost white. Shut up. I get it. The ethnics are jealous of the white master race. It's all right. I know you envy us white people. It's all right. You don't have to be jealous. It's not a sin to be ethnic. I don't think. Let me look. Oh, no. Yeah, in X, the Gentiles got grafted in. No, you're good. You're fine. It's okay. I'm just going to have to accept that you're not white, all right? I like his new bat suit. If you catch the right angle looking down at his cowl, he does look a little wide in the forehead, and it's a teeny bit awkward, but when he's, most of the time, as long as you don't catch it from that one bad angle, it's fine. And I like the actual design of the suit. It's still a bat suit, very armored. I like that it's actually bulletproof, unlike the Nolan Batman. Where the guy takes a cap gun to the stomach and is completely out of commission. And his car, too. The Batmobile is literally just like a Mustang covered in armor with a jet engine strapped to the back. And the first time, the engine kicks up and the headlights flick on and the Imperial March, the new Batman theme, swells in. It's great. There's a super, super fun chase sequence. The one they show in the trailer where he's walking upside down. It's very old school Batman. I liked it a lot. Michael Giacchino did a pretty good job with the score overall, I think. Yeah, the new Batman theme, the bum, 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 is literally just the first 4 notes of the Imperial March. Bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum. Alright, the reason I'm not gonna bother, well, one, it's extra effort to go on YouTube and pull up the thing, and then YouTube's just gonna copyright it, so you're just gonna have to deal with my crappy voice. But I like the feel of the movie a lot too. It's a little too much film grain for my preference. I like nice, good, clean picture. The Nolan movies were, because they were shot in IMAX, they were very, very crystal clear. They're very, very good picture quality, and I don't think he used a frame of CGI in the entire trilogy. So it all looks very good, very real, all holds up super well. This one's very, very dark, and you'll have like a kind of a dark gray kind of blurring the screen, and then you'll have a light of a bit of yellow or red or maybe a little bit of blue. So it's a very, old school noir feel. There are some really cool shots. There's one in particular near the end where involving a lit torch that is downright beautiful. But I do think they overuse the camera taped to moving object a little too much. There's like 3 or 4 times where Batman is in motion and the camera's just pointing up at his face. And it's kind of awkward. I think they overdid that a bit. But for the most part, it is a good looking movie. No quick cut, no shaky cam. No, you can see the action nice and clearly. And there's that hallway fight, where all the guns are, it's like pitch black and the guns are going off, so the muzzle flash is the only illumination you see. It's visually stylish, but I can't help but think those guys in that hall are never hearing again. Oh man, have you ever fired a gun indoors? Dude, even 9mm is unimaginably loud. You are all going deaf. Speaking of guns, too, it is something that I just realized. It's not a new thing. This Batman is very anti-gun, unlike the Batfleck. It didn't occur to me till now. It's like, what's Batman's beef with the Second Amendment, man? He doesn't like husbands and fathers protecting their families. I thought it was funny and kind of ironic. I was literally wearing a gun in the theater while watching the movie when Batman's knocking a Glock out of Catwoman's hand, telling her, no guns. And I was just like, dude, I have a gun. And I'm a nobody. Oddly enough, as I've been reevaluating my morals and values now that I'm a real Christian and not a Catholic anymore, even his no killing rule, I'm taking into question. And that brings up a good question of who's the legitimate God-ordained authority in the circumstance. Anarchism is wrong, but vigilantism I don't think necessarily is. So it really depends on how you look at it. Like when the cops and the mayor and all the politicians have been corrupt for so long in Gotham, is there a point where they cease to become the legitimate governing authority? And how does that work? So can Batman officially step in and then take the place and be, jury, judge, executioner, take up the duties of protecting good and punishing evil, which in the Old Covenant law includes death. There's no prison sentences in Exodus at all. People either had to pay fines, they lost body parts, or they were killed or sold into slavery. Sticking somebody in a jail cell is not a thing you see anywhere in the Old Testament, and for the way that God laid out for how he wanted the Jews to enforce their laws. So it's just something to think about. Because, obviously the Taliban is not the legitimate governing authority of Afghanistan right now. If they stay there for maybe 50 years to the point where people grow up knowing Taliban rule, maybe they become that. I don't really know where I fall on that exactly. It's possible that Batman's not even doing wrong by going out and being vigilante, and I'm very pro capital punishment, I'm very pro death sentence, so if there's a case that can be made where Batman is the legitimate governing authority in Gotham because the mayors and stuff have forfeited their right to that God-ordained position, then it would be Batman's duty to kill criminals, which is an interesting take. So take with that what you will. There's also a curious contrast so there's a person in the movie who does a thing in the past, and I won't spoil it or ruin it, but the good guy's position is that he was a good man who made a mistake. The villain's position, now the villain was also lying about what happened, so, pull that out of the equation for a bit, but the villain's position was, even the best people you know are capable of the most heinous deeds. And funny enough, the villain's position is correct. That is the one supported by biblical evidence. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Every single person you know is capable of rape and mass murder because they all have original sin until their hearts are regenerate by the Holy Spirit So crack open that Bible, try and make that happen if you haven't already. Let no man think he is good, because no man is good. There is not one time, there was only one time in history where a bad thing happened to a good person. And then the kind of dynamic with Catwoman, like her kind of character arc is, she wants revenge against Carmine Falcone for something he did to her. And Batman's, trying, knocking guns out of her hand, telling her, no, vengeance isn't the way, which is funny coming from a guy who literally calls himself Vengeance. He's not actually addressed as Batman ever in the movie, I don't think. They say, oh, hey, it's Mr. Vengeance. Like, that's literally his name. It's like, bro, are you serious right now? But if his point is, you don't repay evil with more evil, that makes sense. I understand that, it's not right to kill out of hatred. But he says something to Catwoman where he's like, if you cross that line, you're no better than them. Which, again, it's like, why is total depravity such a difficult concept for people to grasp? You already are no better than that. All of the villains in this movie are evil people. All of the heroes in this movie are evil people. Everyone is evil, okay? Read your dang Bible. Open this book. You hear that sound? That's the sound of reading. It's the sound of your soul being saved. I want that for you, because I don't want you to have to actually get what you deserve, because what you deserve is hell. And it's funny because, like, even if she did cross that line, nothing's changed, because she's already sinned. She hasn't committed some super ultimate sin that now puts her on a path of no redemption. No, there is no sin too grave to forgive. The only sin God does not forgive is the sin of unbelief in his son, Christ Jesus. So keep that in mind, would you?